Hi guys, my name is Alethea. This is Gotcha Covered. Today I'm going to be talking about homeschool outfits. I have lots of experience with homeschool outfits because I was a homeschooler and I have nothing but love in my heart for the homeschool community. However, there is a couple outfits that are very stereotypically homeschooled, and the reason I know that is because I was hiking with my husband and we saw a family go by and he was like,
Babe, look, homeschoolers.
and I was like, oh my gosh, first of all, don't point. And second of all, yeah, that's true. They are totally homeschoolers. And I just think it's funny that somebody who didn't grow up homeschooled could immediately tell that that's what they were. And I want to tell you a couple of tips to just look a little bit more normal. Not that there's anything wrong with being homeschooled, but I know that for me, when I was homeschooled, I didn't want to be noticed as a homeschooler. I just wanted to be noticed as a person. So I'm going to show you how to upgrade your homeschool outfits. All right, so I just want to reiterate that I have literally nothing against homeschoolers. The reason I'm making this video is I feel like our fashion, could just be upgraded. I feel like that's something that we can take on as a homeschool community and just challenge ourselves to be better in that area. We're all about growth. I have to start with the big one, okay? You know exactly what I'm gonna say if you were homeschooled. Denim skirts. I feel like denim skirts are as big of a part of homeschooling as like Saxon or a Becca. Seriously, everyone who's homeschooled has worn a denim skirt at least one point in their life. You can quote me on that. I know that's not true, but I feel like it's true. So denim skirts, the rules that I have for them really depend on what your standards are. If you're wearing a skirt that's just above the knee or maybe that like midway point at the knee, stick with your denim skirts. I think that they're very cute, they're very versatile. A lot of people wear them and it looks great, and I think it can coordinate really easy with a lot of outfits. And I also think that it looks better if it's more on the A-line spectrum of things than like the straight up and down. I feel like the straight up and down denim skirt is a little bit too much of that early 2000s vibe. And I don't really think anybody is super fond of the early 2000s fashion, so let's try not to return to that. If you like to wear your denim skirts at more of like a midi length, I don't want to be too general here because I have seen some midi skirts that are super cute and interesting and fun and young, but I think for teenagers or like that early 20-somethings, I would suggest as a rule you kind of just avoid denim skirts because I think it ages you in a way that isn't necessarily great, and I also don't think that that's the most flattering on most people. The denim is a little bit too stiff and it kind of can end up draping in some ways that aren't great, especially if it gets bent out of shape. Whenever you're buying new skirts, try to avoid the denim. There's so many amazing midi skirts out there, especially right now because it's trending, and you can stock up and get some really cute stuff that's still very basic and simple and versatile, but just is a little bit more like modern than that plain denim skirt. Okay, I'm sorry about what I'm about to say because long denim skirts I don't think look good. That is my personal opinion and you are free to disagree with me, especially if you just don't even care about fashion anyways. That's fine to keep wearing your denim skirts, but for the long length denim skirt, I haven't found a single one that I think is genuinely flattering or even necessarily looks really feminine. For anyone who likes to wear long denim skirts, I would highly advise that you kind of step out of your comfort zone. I know that's a very typical safe option, but maybe instead of just going straight for that, try to branch out and at least try on some other long maxi length skirts that are not denim and just see if you like it a little bit better. The next thing that I would like to tackle is another beloved part of the homeschool community. That would be denim jackets. And I'm wearing one right now, so you can rest easy knowing that I don't hate denim jackets. However, oh, there's a big however. There's a certain denim jacket that a lot of homeschool girls like to wear. Don't worry, I have an example so you won't be confused. Hello. So that denim jacket, I feel like it's a little bit too simple. It's very straight up and down. Doesn't really have a lot of coloring going on. It's just kind of basic and a little bit boring, and I don't think it adds anything to your outfit. So I'm wearing a plain black shirt underneath this, and it's a turtleneck on top of that. So it's pretty boring, but adding this denim jacket adds a whole level of dimension. It's a whole different texture, can really brighten up an outfit. But if you're wearing something that's too plain and simple, it doesn't do any of those things for you. So if you're wearing just like a plain gray dress, for example, and you pop that really basic denim jacket on top of it, it's not doing you any favors. But if you put on more of like a trucker fit or something that's a little bit more oversized or has some distressing or even holes in it, it'll make it seem really interesting and like you put a lot of work and thought into your outfit. So as far as footwear goes, in the homeschool community, I feel like those kind of older looking sandals are something that I see a lot on like younger girls. And I don't know why exactly. I know my mom brought me to like the Clark store, which I think has an older demographic, like target market. And I was wearing shoes that were designed for like older women. Like the design is a lot more, it's just like matronly kind of. So instead of those sandals, something like Birkenstocks I know is having a moment at this time, something with like a strap around the ankle or like a large buckle, something a little bit just younger looking will suit you a lot better than that older kind of style. So whenever I go on those like modest clothing websites, if you just like Google modest clothing, I mostly notice it in Modly, but it is in all the other ones, I promise. For some reason, like 50% of the dresses that they sell are a floral dress. And then like 90% of those dresses are paired with a nude heel. Why? Don't have anything against nude heels, but honestly, like I'm kind of surprised. There's so many options. I don't know why you would stick with that nude heel and just wear it with everything when there's just better options out there. Kind of in the same vein of things, there's something that I see a lot in the homeschool community or just in like modest fashion communities in general, where a lot of people will pair floral pattern with stripes. I see that so much and I don't see it anywhere else except for in the modest fashion community. And I don't know why, because I feel like that hasn't been in fashion since like 2011, but we're really sticking hard with it. Just probably don't pair those two things together. I love stripes and I love floral, but try to keep them separate for now. It's just not in fashion right now. This video might not age well and it might be in fashion in like 2025, but for right now, just keep them separate. I know that pants aren't something that's universally agreed on in the homeschool or even the modest community. Everybody kind of has their own different opinion and standards as far as pants go. But if you do wear pants, we love our moms, we love our jeans, and we especially love our mom jeans. I feel like that's the staple go-to in any sort of modest community. It's a great pant. I love that it's in fashion. Something that I get on my little sisters for a lot is they never wear it with a belt for some reason. So they wear this kind of oversized t-shirt with these oversized pants and no belt, and it just kind of looks kind of glommy, kind of looks a little too just baggy. But the whole thing would just be so easily fixed. You just put a belt on there, just add a belt, seriously, add a belt. These next couple points have to do with layering, and as someone who grew up with conservative standards and still have pretty conservative standards to this day, I have so much sympathy for these, but I also just want to say, as nicely as possible, I don't think either of these things look good, and you should just avoid them in general. The first thing that I'm talking about is that short sleeve cardigan. I still see a lot of people wearing these, and I know especially when it's hot outside, it just seems like the best easy fix for something that's sleeveless if you're trying to avoid that look. But I just don't think it looks good. I don't think it makes any sort of outfit look put together. Kind of looks like an afterthought. Basically, I imagine it like a band-aid on your outfit. It's just something to kind of patch it up, but it's not a permanent look. I would say that if your standard is you need to wear clothing that has sleeves on it, take that extra time to just try to find outfits that have sleeves. One easy way to kind of plan ahead is to look online first before you go into any store and filter. Most of them have really good filter options where you can choose your sleeve length that you're looking for and maybe even like write down the serial number or something, and then you can bring it to the store and say, hey, do you have this dress? Because you already know that it fits your standard, instead of just buying the one thing that kind of fits your standards and then slapping that short sleeve cardigan on it. And then of course, last but not least, this is something that I literally have so much sympathy for because there are literal photos of me when I was a teenager doing this exact thing. I was wearing a V-neck with a camisole under it. I just don't think it looks good. And I think, again, it kind of looks like an afterthought, like kind of a band-aid to your outfit. I know it's so easy to just go for that V-neck shirt because you know that you can put a camisole underneath it and it'll fit your standards at that point. I think that you would be doing yourself a huge favor by just spending the extra time in the store, finding clothes that hit your neckline standard, and then that way you can just throw it on and you don't have to have that extra bulk, extra layers in the summer. It's way too hot for that. Instead of trying to change the intended design, work with the designers here. When they're concepting a piece, they're not intending for you to add layers to it. They want it to be this one coherent outfit, and if you're adding extra things, it can make it a little bit more messy. However, if you just spend that extra time shopping and try to find something that just already hits your standards, takes a little bit longer to find, but you can wear something in its intended state instead of trying to fix it. If you have made it this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you. If any of these tips were helpful for you and you have more of a direction to go in next time you go shopping, go ahead and throw me a like and consider subscribing because I come out with fashion-related, modest-centered content every single week. See you next time.